Why do you keep trying to fix what you cannot change and how it's keeping you stuck? What if I told you that the real battle isn't outside, but within your own mind? When you stop reacting, you stop suffering. This isn't just philosophy, it's a path to freedom. Have you been struggling to protect your calm only to watch it shatter again and again? Stay with me, because there's a bonus lesson waiting at the end you don't want to miss. Before we begin, subscribe to Deep Wisdom, where every video is a doorway to calm, clarity, and timeless Buddhist insight you won't find anywhere else. Let's begin. 1. Why you should stop caring so much. Have you ever wondered why your heart feels heavy when others disapprove of you? Why even a single harsh word can echo for hours inside your mind, disturbing the silence you long to keep? The truth is, most of the suffering you feel does not come from the world outside, but from the weight of the importance you give to every passing opinion. As one teaching says, freedom begins when you no longer seek permission to exist. Until you understand this, you will remain a prisoner to the voices around you, bowing to the shifting winds of approval and rejection. Think of a tree in autumn. Its leaves have lived their time, and when the season comes, the tree does not cling to them, nor does it fear being bare. It simply lets go. In the same way, peace is not found by holding tightly to the judgments of others, but by releasing them, like dry leaves returning to the earth. This letting go is not weakness, but strength. It is the courage to stand rooted in your own being, unshaken by passing storms. Buddhism teaches that attachment is the root of suffering, and the attachment to what others think is one of the deepest. When you place your peace in their hands, you are no longer living freely. You are begging for permission to feel whole. But when you return to yourself, when you stop measuring your worth against their expectations, a vast stillness opens within you. No insult can pierce it. No praise can inflate it. It is simply whole, as it always was. Look around you in daily life. How often do you delay your dreams because you fear disapproval? How often do you remain silent because you imagine being misunderstood? Each time, you give away a piece of your freedom. But imagine a life where no comment, no frown, no rejection could disturb your inner balance. This is not arrogance, it is liberation. It is the state of someone who no longer hands their peace to the world like a fragile glass waiting to be shattered. Sit quietly for a few moments. Close your eyes. Imagine all the judgments you have been carrying, words spoken long ago, looks that wounded you, comparisons that made you doubt yourself. Now picture them as leaves resting on your shoulders. With each breath out, see them falling gently to the ground, one by one, until you are free of their weight. Feel how light you become, how natural it feels to stand without those burdens. Whose opinion are you still carrying like a chain? What would your life look like if you finally set it down? The answer may surprise you, for you may discover that peace was never stolen. It was only hidden beneath the noise you kept clinging to. Remember this truth. When you stop feeding the storms inside, the world's tempests lose their power over you. Do this, and nobody, nothing, no voice, and no shadow will ever again hold the power to disturb your peace. 2. The illusion of external control. Why do we keep trying to fix situations beyond our reach, only to feel powerless? Why do we burn ourselves out trying to manage other people's choices, circumstances, or the ever-changing world around us, when deep inside we know it cannot be controlled? This is the great illusion of external control, the belief that if we arrange everything perfectly outside, we will finally feel safe inside. But peace has never worked this way. As one simple truth reminds us, you hold the key to your peace, not the world. Think of a river. When it meets a stone, it does not resist. It does not stop and fight. It bends, it flows around. And in time, even the hardest rock is shaped by its gentleness. This is the way of peace. Life will place obstacles in your path, but they do not have to steal your calm. They only disturb you if you insist that the river of life must flow the way you demand. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that clinging to control is one of the greatest causes of suffering. We cannot force the seasons to change. We cannot prevent others from thinking or acting as they will. Yet, when we demand the world obey our will, every disappointment cuts us, every obstacle exhausts us. This is why so many people live like weary travelers, carrying loads too heavy for their strength. They are fighting against the current instead of allowing it to guide them. In today's world, this illusion of control shows up everywhere. You want colleagues to behave fairly, yet they may not. You want loved ones to understand you perfectly, yet sometimes they won't. You want the future to unfold exactly as you dream, but it never will. Each time, the harder you cling, the more fragile your peace becomes. But what if, instead of controlling, you learned to flow? What if you trusted that you could bend around difficulties, adjust, and still move forward with dignity and strength? Close your eyes and picture a wide, clear river. See it flowing steadily, finding its way around every branch, stone, and bend. Imagine that river as your own life. Each obstacle you face is just another rock in the stream. Feel the ease with which the water moves on. Then ask yourself, where in your life are you exhausting yourself trying to control the uncontrollable? Is it in relationships, at work, with your own past? And then ask, what would it look like to flow instead of fight? This does not mean giving up. It means shifting from force to wisdom, from resistance to harmony. The river never stops moving forward, and neither will you. But its strength lies not in control, but in surrender. When you understand this, a calm courage rises within you. The storms of life will still come, but they will no longer shake your center. For now, you know the secret. Peace was never in the hands of the world. It was always in yours. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "My stillness is unbreakable." 3. What happens when you just stop caring? Can detachment really protect you, or does it isolate you from love and connection? This question often confuses the heart. Many fear that letting go means closing off, becoming cold, or uncaring. But true detachment is not a wall, it is a doorway. As one teaching reminds us, indifference is not apathy, it is clarity free from attachment. When you stop clinging, you do not lose the world. You finally see it as it is. Think of the sky. Clouds drift across its vastness, sometimes heavy with storm, sometimes glowing with light. Yet the sky itself is untouched. It does not grasp the bright clouds to make them stay, nor does it fight the dark ones to drive them away. It remains still, open, infinite. Your mind, too, can be like this sky. Events will rise and fall, joys will visit, sorrows will pass, but your peace does not have to vanish with them. Buddhism teaches that clinging to what is pleasant and resisting what is unpleasant are the twin chains of suffering. You rejoice when life gives you what you want, and you despair when it takes it away. But what if you stepped beyond this cycle? What if you could care deeply, yet not be shattered by change? This is the essence of detachment, not the absence of love, but love without chains. Consider your daily life. Perhaps a harsh word lingers in your mind long after it is spoken, or a disappointment loops in your thoughts again and again. Each moment you cling to these clouds, you lose sight of the clear sky. Yet, when you allow them to pass without holding on, you discover a freedom deeper than pleasure, a peace stronger than pain. Close your eyes and imagine yourself lying under a wide, endless sky. Watch as clouds drift across it, some golden with beauty, some heavy with storm. See how easily they come and go. Now imagine each of your thoughts, worries and desires as these clouds. Notice how they appear, linger, and dissolve on their own. The sky, the real you, remains unshaken. Feel the vastness of that space within you. In what moments do you lose your peace by holding on? Is it when someone disappoints you? When life doesn't unfold as you planned? What would it feel like to simply let go and allow it to pass, just like the clouds? Detachment does not mean disconnection. It means living with open hands instead of clenched fists. It means walking through life with a heart full of compassion, but free from the desperate need to control or possess. When you master this, love becomes purer, joy becomes lighter, and suffering loses its grip. Remember this truth. Like the sky, your peace is vast and untouchable. Clouds will come and go, but they can never stain its endless expanse. When you stop clinging, nobody and nothing can affect your peace again. 4. The power of silent awareness. How can watching your thoughts lead to peace when emotions feel overwhelming? The mind, left unchecked, is like a restless monkey, jumping, grasping, and shouting at every passing moment. But the secret is not to silence the monkey by force, nor to chase after each thought it clings to. The secret is awareness, to simply watch. As the wisdom says, the still mind is the doorway to freedom. Imagine a calm lake on a quiet morning. When its waters are undisturbed, it reflects the sky so clearly that even the clouds seem to rest upon it. But when winds stir the surface, the reflection is lost. In the same way, your inner world reflects life with perfect clarity when awareness is still. But when emotions rise like storms, you cannot see clearly. You mistake ripples for truth, shadows for reality. Only through silent awareness does the lake of the mind return to stillness. Buddhism teaches that we are not our thoughts. We are the awareness in which thoughts appear and dissolve. Yet, most people believe every thought that passes through their mind. They become angry because anger arises, anxious because worry appears, sad because sorrow comes. But if you learn to sit in silent awareness, you realize these are only passing visitors. They come, they stay for a while, and then they leave. You are not them. You are the space that holds them. In daily life, how often do you become entangled in your thoughts? A single fear about the future can consume your whole day. One memory from the past can steal the present moment. Yet, if you practice awareness, you will see that the thought itself has no real weight. It is only the importance you give it that shakes you. Like ripples on water, it cannot disturb the depths unless you believe it must. Close your eyes and imagine sitting beside a clear, still lake. The sunlight rests gently on its surface, and the sky is mirrored perfectly. Now imagine dropping a small stone into the water. Watch as ripples spread outward and then fade. In the same way, every thought in your mind rises, stirs the surface, and then disappears. Watch them with the patience of the lake. Do not fight them, do not chase them, simply observe. Feel how peaceful it becomes when you no longer react to each ripple. How often do you observe your thoughts without reacting? What would it be like to sit with them like still waters, calm, deep, and unshaken? This awareness is not escape, it is clarity. From it, right action naturally flows. From it, emotions lose their power to overwhelm. When you cultivate silent awareness, nobody and nothing outside can disturb your peace. For your calm does not depend on the winds of the world, but on the stillness within. Like the lake reflecting the sky, your life becomes clear, balanced, and free. And in that clarity, you discover the doorway to freedom that was always waiting inside you. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "My stillness is unbreakable." 5. Letting go isn't weakness, it's strength. What if surrendering control is the boldest form of courage? So often, the mind tells you that to let go is to lose. To surrender is to be defeated. To release is to be weak. Yet this is an illusion. True strength is not in clenching your fists tighter, but in opening your hands. As one teaching says, the strongest roots are buried deep in silence. The strength that lasts does not shout, it rests quietly, deeply rooted in peace. Picture bamboo swaying in the wind. It bends, it leans, it flows with the storm. Yet, when the winds pass, it still stands, unbroken. This is the power of letting go. Resilience is not found in resisting the storm, but in yielding to it without losing your ground. A tree that refuses to bend snaps. Bamboo, in its quiet wisdom, survives. In the same way, you can be unshakable, not by controlling everything, but by releasing resistance. Buddhism teaches us that clinging is suffering, and control is only another form of clinging. You try to control people, yet they remain free. You try to control outcomes, yet the future arrives in its own way. You try to control life itself, yet life moves like a river that refuses to be held in your hands. Every moment spent in resistance drains your energy, but every moment of surrender returns your strength. In daily life, think of the times you fought what could not be changed. Perhaps it was an unexpected loss, an unfair situation, or a sudden turn in life's path. The more you resisted, the heavier the burden became. But in the rare moments you released your grip, even just a little, didn't you feel a sudden lightness? That is not weakness, it is the beginning of freedom. Sit quietly and take a deep breath. Feel your body soften. Imagine yourself as bamboo swaying in the breeze. With each exhale, let go of one burden: the need to control another person, the fear of an uncertain tomorrow, the weight of what you cannot change. Feel yourself bending, but never breaking, flowing, but still rooted. Notice how strength rises in the space where resistance once lived. Where in your life can you release control and still stand strong? What would surrender look like in that place? And could that surrender actually give you more courage, more peace, more resilience? Letting go is not escape. It is not running away. It is the wisdom to know what is yours to carry and what was never meant for you. It is the courage to bow to life, to trust its unfolding, and to stand tall without grasping. Remember this: like bamboo, you can bend without breaking. When you release resistance, you do not fall, you rise. And in that rise, nobody and nothing can affect your peace again. 6. The invisible chains of people-pleasing. Why do you seek connection at the cost of your own calm? This is a quiet suffering many carry without realizing. You give your energy, your time, and your voice away in order to be accepted, hoping the approval of others will bring you peace. But instead, you find yourself exhausted, anxious and resentful. As one truth reminds us, peace is lost when you perform for others what your soul rejects. People-pleasing often disguises itself as kindness, but it is not kindness. It is fear. Fear of rejection, fear of disapproval, fear of standing alone. Yet, each time you silence your own truth to satisfy someone else, you trade your inner peace for temporary comfort. Like a vine wrapping around a tree, it begins with good intention, but slowly it tightens, restricting your growth, suffocating your spirit. What once looked like connection becomes chains. Buddhism teaches the middle way, not selfishness, not servitude, but balance. True compassion cannot exist if it comes at the expense of your own well-being. To give from emptiness is not virtue, it is self-neglect. Real love is born when you respect both yourself and others, when you speak honestly without fear, and when you allow your heart to remain steady even if others do not approve. In modern life, this invisible chain appears everywhere. At work, you overextend yourself, saying yes when your body and mind are weary. In relationships, you nod in agreement even when your heart whispers no. In society, you wear masks to fit expectations that do not reflect who you truly are. Each time, the weight grows heavier, until one day you realize the peace you long for has been quietly slipping away. Close your eyes and imagine a tree with a vine wrapped tightly around its trunk. See how the vine clings, restricting the tree's growth. Now imagine the vine slowly loosening, releasing its grip. Both the tree and the vine breathe freely once again. As you watch, ask yourself, what patterns of pleasing are strangling your spirit? What masks are you wearing that hide your true face? When have you silenced yourself just to keep the peace with others? And what would it look like to care deeply without betraying yourself in the process? Could you imagine a way of giving that springs from honesty, from love, untainted by fear? Letting go of people-pleasing is not abandonment, it is liberation. It does not mean you stop caring, but that you care from a place of truth instead of fear. It is choosing connection without chains, love without self-erasure, peace without performance. Remember this: when you stop betraying yourself for acceptance, you no longer lose peace to the demands of others. You stand like a tree, rooted, strong, alive, and in that strength, nobody and nothing can affect your peace again. 7. The art of saying no without guilt. Is it possible to protect your peace while staying compassionate? This is the struggle of many gentle hearts. You want to give, to help, to be available for others. But often, in doing so, you abandon yourself. You say yes when every part of you longs to say no. You stretch beyond your strength, and the result is not joy, but depletion. Yet wisdom whispers, boundaries are bridges, not walls. A garden flourishes when it is cared for with balance. If there are no boundaries, animals trample the flowers, weeds consume the soil, and the beauty withers. But when there are gentle fences, not harsh, not unkind, the garden thrives. It still shares its fragrance with the world, but it does not allow itself to be destroyed. Your peace works in the same way. Boundaries are not a rejection of others, they are an act of protection for the life within you. Buddhism speaks often of the middle path, a way between extremes. Boundaries are this middle path in action. To give without measure leads to exhaustion. To close yourself off entirely leads to isolation. But when you say no with clarity and love, you walk the path of wisdom. You honor both your own well-being and the true needs of others, because what you offer comes from strength, not resentment. In daily life, the absence of boundaries often shows itself quietly. You agree to commitments that drain you. You hold conversations that leave you unsettled. You absorb responsibilities that were never yours to carry. And slowly, your inner calm erodes. But imagine this: saying no, gently, firmly, with compassion. Imagine how your peace would grow if you guarded your time, your energy, your heart. Wouldn't you then have more genuine love to give? Close your eyes and picture a garden filled with vibrant flowers. Around it, soft wooden fences stand, not to keep beauty trapped, but to protect it from harm. Now, imagine your own life as this garden. Each yes you give is a flower you share. Each no you set is a fence that keeps your soil fertile. Feel how natural it is to guard this space, not out of fear, but out of love for what is sacred. Where are you afraid to say no? Is it with family, at work, or in friendships? And what would it feel like to set boundaries not as a weapon, but as a gift of clarity to yourself and to others? Could saying no become one of the deepest forms of love you practice? Remember this truth: your peace is not selfish, it is soil for everything else you nurture. When you guard it with care, your compassion grows richer, your presence becomes fuller, and your love shines brighter. Say no when you must, and your yes will carry the weight of truth. And in that truth, nobody and nothing will ever again have the power to disturb your peace. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "My stillness is unbreakable." 8. When you stop defending yourself. Why does explaining and justifying only deepen the unrest inside you? Have you noticed how the more you try to defend yourself, the more tangled you become in arguments, the more energy you lose, and the more peace slips away? The mind believes that explanation will free it, but in truth, defense only feeds the conflict. As a timeless reminder says, peace grows when resistance fades. Picture a candle flame in a quiet room. When the air is still, the flame rises straight and bright. But when you fan the air with restless hands, the flame flickers, weakens, and struggles. In the same way, your peace shines most clearly when you stop stirring the winds of conflict. Silence does not make you smaller. It makes you steady, unshaken, like the candle that glows quietly no matter who enters the room. Buddhism teaches us that clinging to ego is one of the deepest roots of suffering. Much of the need to defend comes not from truth, but from pride. The desire to be seen as right, to be understood, to be validated. Yet truth requires no defense. It simply is. When you learn to stop justifying yourself, you step out of the endless battle of proving and explaining. You begin to live in clarity rather than conflict. In daily life, you can see this pattern clearly. Someone criticizes you unfairly, and you feel the urge to explain every detail. A misunderstanding arises, and you fight to correct every angle. But have you noticed? Even when you succeed in defending yourself, the inner turmoil does not disappear. It only grows heavier because peace was sacrificed for victory. But what if you allowed criticism to pass like clouds across the sky? What if you let silence protect you instead of endless words? Close your eyes and picture a single candle burning in a still, quiet room. Notice how steady and radiant the flame is when nothing disturbs it. Now imagine each criticism, each misunderstanding, each false judgment as a draft of air. Instead of fanning it with your defense, allow the air to pass. Watch how the flame remains unshaken, glowing softly in the stillness. This flame is your peace. It does not depend on the winds, it depends only on your choice to remain still. When do you feel compelled to defend yourself? Is it in conversations with loved ones, at work, in moments where you feel unseen? And what would happen if, just once, you let the words pass without defending, without explaining, simply trusting that your truth does not need permission to exist? To stop defending yourself is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is the strength of someone who no longer hands their peace over to the judgments of others. Remember this: when resistance fades, calm grows stronger. Be like the candle, bright, steady, silent, and no storm of words will ever again disturb your peace. 9. The secret practice that turns setbacks into wisdom. Can pain be transformed into power without force or struggle? This is a question that arises when life feels heavy, when setbacks pierce your heart and suffering seems unfair. The instinct is to resist, to fight against pain, to wish it away. Yet Buddhist wisdom reveals a hidden truth. Every challenge is a teacher wrapped in disguise. What appears as an obstacle is often the very soil from which wisdom grows. Imagine the earth after a long, dry spell. The ground is cracked, barren, lifeless. Then comes the rain. At first it seems harsh as it strikes the thirsty soil, but slowly the water seeps down, nourishing roots hidden deep within. Seeds that lay dormant awaken, and new life begins to rise. In the same way, suffering nourishes the hidden strength of your soul. Without it, your compassion would remain shallow, your resilience untested, your wisdom unopened. When setbacks arrive, they often feel like punishments. You lose what you love, you face failure, you endure disappointment. Yet, if you turn inward and sit with these moments instead of resisting them, you may discover that they are not here to break you. They are here to deepen you. Pain softens the heart, making it more compassionate toward others. Struggles humble the ego, showing you that control was never the source of peace. In this way, even sorrow becomes a teacher. In daily life, recall the moments that shaped you the most. Was it when everything was easy, or when you had to rise after falling? Perhaps you lost something precious, and in that emptiness discovered what truly mattered. Perhaps a failure closed one path, but guided you to a direction your soul had been seeking all along. These are not just memories, they are the hidden gifts of adversity. Close your eyes and picture a field of parched soil, dry and lifeless. Now imagine gentle rain falling upon it. See the drops sinking into the earth, awakening seeds that had been waiting silently in the dark. Slowly, green shoots emerge, fragile yet determined. This is you. Each drop of difficulty that falls into your life nourishes the seed of wisdom within you. Notice how pain does not destroy, it transforms. What recent difficulty has taught you something profound? Did a setback reveal your hidden resilience? Did a loss awaken deeper compassion? Ask yourself, how might you welcome pain not as an enemy, but as a guide? To transform setbacks into wisdom is not to invite suffering, but to honor it when it arrives. It is to bow to the rain, knowing that even in discomfort, it brings growth. It is to trust that nothing you face is wasted, for every challenge shapes your spirit in ways comfort never could. Remember this: just as rain nourishes the earth, so too does pain nourish the soul. When you embrace it with awareness, it ripens into strength, compassion, and wisdom. And in that wisdom, nobody and nothing can ever again take away your peace. 10. How stillness reveals the path forward. Why does action feel impossible when you are restless and reactive? Have you noticed how the harder you push in those moments, the more clouded your mind becomes? Anxiety tightens your chest, thoughts spin endlessly, and the path ahead feels like a maze. Yet the truth is simple: you cannot see clearly while caught in the storm. As the wisdom reminds us, in stillness, the next step appears. Imagine a misty morning at dawn. The fog is so thick, you cannot see the way forward. If you rush ahead, you stumble. If you panic, you get lost. But if you pause, breathe, and wait, the fog slowly lifts. The path that seemed hidden is revealed, not because you forced it, but because you allowed clarity to arrive on its own. In the same way, when your mind rests in stillness, what was once confusing becomes simple, and what felt impossible begins to unfold naturally. Buddhism teaches that restlessness is one of the great hindrances of the mind. It pulls you away from the present, scattering your focus and feeding your doubt. Yet stillness is not inactivity. It is the ground from which wise action arises. Just as a calm lake reflects the sky, a still mind reflects the truth. And from truth, the right step forward reveals itself effortlessly. In modern life, this lesson is often forgotten. You face challenges at work, conflicts in relationships, or uncertainties about the future, and your first instinct is to act quickly, to solve immediately, to force progress. But often, this only deepens the confusion. Think of the times you have reacted in haste. Did it truly bring peace, or did it create more knots to untangle? Now imagine instead pausing, letting the storm of thoughts settle, and waiting until stillness shows you the way. Which feels stronger? Which feels wiser? Close your eyes and picture a quiet field at dawn. The air is cool, the mist is heavy, and the path before you is hidden. Do not move, simply wait. Watch as the morning sun slowly warms the earth and the mist begins to thin. Bit by bit, the way forward is revealed. Now imagine your own life as this scene. Each problem is the fog. Stillness is the sun. Trust that when you stop rushing, the clarity you seek will come. When was the last time you paused and allowed clarity to arise on its own? Where in your life right now are you forcing progress instead of trusting the wisdom of stillness? And what might you see if you stopped struggling and simply allowed the mist to clear? Remember this: stillness is not the absence of movement. It is the birthplace of direction. It is the silence from which the right words emerge, the calm from which the right action flows, the peace from which the true path becomes visible. When you learn to trust the quiet, nobody and nothing will ever again shake the peace that guides your steps. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "My stillness is unbreakable." 11. The wisdom of not taking things personally. Why do words and actions from others shake us so deeply? Perhaps it is because we secretly cling to them, believing they define who we are. A careless comment, a harsh judgment, or even a dismissive glance can feel like an arrow piercing the heart. Yet the Buddha's wisdom reminds us, what others say is their story, not your truth. If you let every word pierce you, you surrender your peace to the shifting winds of other people's moods and opinions. Imagine a pebble tossed into a lake. Ripples spread across the surface, but the lake itself remains vast and unbroken. The waves belong to the pebble, not to the water's depth. In the same way, what others say or do are ripples of their own mind, their own struggles, their own perspective. They do not define your essence unless you choose to carry them. Buddhism teaches us that suffering often arises from attachment, not only to desires, but also to judgments and opinions. When you attach to the words of others, you chain your heart to their passing storms. But when you release them, like ripples dissolving on still water, peace returns. This is not indifference, but clarity. You see others more compassionately, when you recognize that their actions reveal more about their state of mind than about your worth. In daily life, think of how often negativity surrounds you. An unkind remark from a colleague, a family member's criticism, or a stranger's rudeness. Each moment offers you a choice. Absorb it and let it disturb your inner calm, or allow it to pass through like wind over an open field. Which choice keeps you light? Which choice preserves your freedom? Close your eyes and picture a calm lake at dawn. Now imagine someone tossing a pebble into the water. Watch the ripples spread outward, then fade back into stillness. As you breathe, remind yourself, this is not mine to carry. Each judgment, each criticism is just another pebble thrown into the lake. Your peace is the depth of the water, untouched beneath the surface. Reflect gently. How often do you absorb others' negativity as if it belongs to you? How many times have you carried harsh words long after they were spoken, replaying them as if they held truth? And what would shift in your life if you allowed such words to dissolve, leaving you free, calm, and clear? Remember, freedom is not found in controlling what others say or do. It is found in recognizing that their words are their reflection, not yours. When you stop taking things personally, you reclaim the vastness of your own spirit. Like the lake that remains whole no matter how many stones are cast, your peace remains unbroken when you no longer give others the power to define your truth. And in that strength, nobody and nothing will ever again disturb the quiet depth of your heart. Bonus lesson. The final practice, returning to the present. What if peace isn't found by fixing the past or fearing the future, but by fully inhabiting now? We spend so much of our lives chasing what has already slipped away or running from what hasn't yet arrived. The past whispers regrets, the future stirs anxiety, and the present is left unnoticed, like a gift unopened in our hands. Yet true peace is never hidden in the distance. It is always here, waiting quietly for us to return. As the teaching reminds us, the present is where peace lives. Think of a seed resting in fertile soil. It does not reach backward into the season gone, nor strain forward toward the harvest to come. Its only task is to be here, now, in the earth that holds it. From this stillness, roots grow, strength deepens, and life unfolds naturally. In the same way, your peace cannot grow while your mind is scattered across past and future. But when you ground yourself in this breath, this moment, you begin to touch the quiet strength that has always been yours. Buddhism teaches mindfulness not as a technique, but as a way of living. The practice is simple. Return. Return when your thoughts wander. Return when fear arises. Return when sorrow grips you. Each time you come back to this moment, like a bird returning to its nest, you rediscover safety, warmth, and rest. The present is not a fragment of time, it is the doorway to freedom. Consider the weight you carry when you escape from the now. The mind replays mistakes like old songs, chaining you to shadows of what cannot be changed. Or it races ahead, imagining disasters that may never come, stealing the peace of today in exchange for illusions of tomorrow. Ask yourself gently, does this wandering serve you? Does it nourish your spirit, or does it drain the life from your breath? Here is a simple practice. Close your eyes. Feel the earth beneath you, steady and unmoving. Let your breath rise and fall, anchoring you here. With each inhale, remind yourself, I am here. With each exhale, release the past and the future. Imagine roots extending from your body into the soil, holding you firmly in this moment. Here you are safe. Here you are whole. Where do you escape to when stress arises? Do you run backward into old wounds or forward into imagined fears? And how might your life feel different if you chose, again and again, to return right now to this breath, to this moment? Remember this: the present is not small, it is vast, infinite, and alive. When you return to it, you return to yourself. And in that return, no person, no memory, and no fear of the future can disturb your peace. Like the seed that holds infinite life within its stillness, so too does this moment hold the power to awaken you fully. Peace is not found elsewhere. It is found here, always here. Quick summary of the principles. Why you should stop caring so much. Constantly seeking approval drains your peace. True contentment arises when you stop depending on others' opinions and instead trust yourself. Letting go of this need opens the way to live authentically. The illusion of external control. Trying to control everything around you only increases frustration and stress. Peace comes when you recognize what is within your influence and allow life's natural flow to guide you. What happens when you just stop caring? Detachment doesn't mean disconnection. It's a conscious choice to not let events and opinions disturb your inner calm. When you stop clinging, your peace becomes steady and grounded. The power of silent awareness. Watching your thoughts without judgment helps weaken emotional reactions. Through mindfulness, you learn that peace depends on how you relate to your thoughts rather than external circumstances. Letting go isn't weakness, it's strength. Releasing control, fear, and expectations reconnects you to your inner power. Letting go becomes an act of courage that allows you to stand strong while remaining flexible. The invisible chains of people-pleasing. Trying to please others at the expense of your well-being keeps you trapped. Creating boundaries with compassion protects your peace without harming relationships. The art of saying no without guilt. Learning to say no strengthens your sense of self and preserves your energy. Boundaries are tools that help you grow while staying kind and compassionate. When you stop defending yourself, defending your ego or emotions keeps you stuck in conflict. When you allow situations to pass without resistance, peace deepens and conflicts dissolve naturally. The secret practice that turns setbacks into wisdom. Setbacks are not failures, but opportunities for growth. Embracing difficulties teaches patience, compassion, and resilience, transforming pain into strength. How stillness reveals the path forward. When you stop reacting and create space for stillness, clarity arises. Taking quiet moments allows your next steps to become visible and purposeful. The wisdom of not taking things personally. Others' actions are reflections of their own journey, not a judgment of you. Learning this helps you avoid unnecessary emotional turmoil and remain centered. The final practice, returning to the present. Peace is found in the present moment, not in chasing the past or worrying about the future. Choosing presence allows you to tap into the strength and calmness that already exists within you. You've now explored how peace isn't something you must build from the outside. It's something that already lives within you, waiting to be uncovered. Every time you release control, stop chasing approval, or watch your thoughts without reacting, you step closer to the calm and strength that has been silently present all along. Even when life feels uncertain, turbulent, or overwhelming, the path toward peace lies within your awareness and your willingness to let go. As the wisdom of the ages gently reminds us, let go or be dragged. This is not a threat, but an invitation to step into freedom rather than be bound by unnecessary struggle. Peace doesn't come from running away from life's challenges, but from learning to meet them with stillness, trust, and compassion. Every setback, every criticism, and every difficult emotion holds the doorway to greater clarity and strength when we stop reacting and choose presence. So wherever you are right now, ask yourself, where will I choose peace today? Trust that by letting go of what you cannot control, you are opening yourself to life's wisdom and its infinite possibilities. If this video has touched your heart, remind yourself that you are not alone on this journey. Like and share this video. Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe to Deep Wisdom for more inspiring insights to live a peaceful, empowered life. Let your presence be the quiet strength that guides you forward.